And hello, welcome to the next Nix Hour. So if you wanna ask a question yourself, you can still join the stream and either use voice or chat. We had some feedback about the format of the Nix Hour in this 30-minute format, and we might change that again the next week. We did a bit of brainstorming before this and had some ideas, so stay tuned. Furthermore, so we looked at some issues in the Nix Hour repository. You can file issues there and we can maybe take a look at these. So one issue that has been open for a while is, actually I closed it just now, was how to do secret management and the best practices. And I don't really know too much about this myself, but in a recent blog post, this was fairly well covered. So I'd like to refer to this one instead. And yes. So that is closed. We had another issue here open for a long time, and that was about override overlay vscodium to change the binary path. So I think we covered the first part here, how to wrap a derivation, but we didn't change the binary path all the way. So I thought maybe it would be interesting to just look into this. And actually, one thing before we go into that, the NixOS release is going to be in like a week. You have the release scheduled here. It's also a pinned issue in Nix packages, so you'll see it in the issue tracker at the top. And so the release is scheduled for the 29th of November. That's in 6 days. And so if you have, well, zero hydra failures and sense, so if you want your packages to be working for then, maybe check until then. Otherwise they get marked as broken. Would be great if we had like as little failures as possible. And actually there will also be a zero hydra failures hackathon I'm going to go to in person in Zurich this weekend. And some people from the community will be there. So if you're in or around Switzerland, you might come there too. Let's see, it's this one. Yes. Maybe I'll keep the link around somewhere. But all right, let's take a look at vscodium again. So if I'm lucky, I can reuse this from the previous one. Yeah, we left off at this point. So we had a write shell script for VS Code, which calls vscodium underneath. This allows people to reuse the habits of using, oh, isn't it code, the binary? I think usually it's, oh yeah, I think usually it's called code, not VS Code. Yes, so that's actually a mistake here. So my package, let's change this to code. Actually, since last time I installed some new updates to my tooling, so you'll notice here, unused binding, I am using nil right now. Yuri here finally convinced me to just go for it and update my tooling, and I can say it works fairly well, and I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah, unused binding, we don't need this anymore. I also updated to Nix tree sitter using, there's a fairly nice one in the manual here. Oh, if you don't see the window, you need to refresh, and I think it should work that way. Tree sitter. Let me know if it still doesn't work.
Yeah,
nice, thanks. Yeah, so I'm using this one too here now. That's a recommendation in the Nix manual. So Vim plugins and NeoVim tree sitter with all grammars. Apparently works for pretty much all languages that way. And it doesn't take a huge amount of size to download it or anything. So yeah, I'm getting pretty good highlighting here. Even, it looks like it even highlights some shell script stuff within the Nix string. So there's some like nested code formatting going on, which is nice. Okay, but so let's see, we have this code here. Let's actually open two windows here. On the right one, I'm going to go into here, Nix Hour number 50. Well, we're going to reuse the same directory for now. So build my package. I want the code binary to be in here. Okay, let's leave this running for a bit. But after this, I think we need to look into the source and figure out kind of the way to patch the binary, and that might be pretty tricky. But I guess let's get started here already. XR50 to go to the source. Oh, and actually I can, so previously we tried to kind of emulate the Nix build behavior in the Nix shell, but we kind of got stuck a bit. But I think there is maybe a recent new section in the manual which actually explains this fairly well. It might not be recent, I might just have missed it. I think it was that one, yes. So yeah, there's this section in the manual here, the Nix packages manual, how to build an SDDNF package in Nix shell. And so I think let's try that out. So to build SDDNF in Nix shell, find the phases you wish to build and then invoke generic build manually. Okay, so it says empty directory first. Let's do that. Actually, let me move this one. Oh, let me move this one over here. Oh, and this actually builds it. Oh, so this is built.
The stream is fine.
The stream is fine. Okay. So why does this build something, and what does it even build? So right now the build is already running. I know that if I started the build with Nix, with num build, which is Nix output monitor, this one, it would allow me to see it, but in this case it doesn't. But there's Nix top, which is a third-party project as well, which should allow me to see that still. It's hacky, the implementation of Nix top, but it shows me the derivation that it is building right now. Okay, so it's building Node.js. I don't really want that, so let me cancel that. And so I guess now num would be more useful to figure out why it builds Node.js. Okay, Node.js as our vscodium. So okay, for some reason Node.js isn't cached. So let's see what kind of dependency versions am I using here. Oh, where's my niv? Nix shell-p niv, and then just niv show. We have Nix packages, this version. This is using Nix as unstable. Well, maybe let's update Nix packages and see if that fixes it. And it's also like if we aren't sure, well, let's just try this. So let's build it again. It's going to take some time to first. Oh, no, that was pretty fast. And yeah, it looks like it doesn't have to build it now, so that's great. This is also just copying, and we can actually see here vscodium, that's our wrapper that we wrote. So yeah, that's much better. All right, so now we have code and codium in the result, and let's look at the output structure again. Well, this is a bit hard to see, but it has symlinks to all of these things. If we look at result bin, so we have code is a symlink to this here, that's our wrapper, whereas every other thing is a symlink to the original vscodium. We did that using the symlink join here. So we included both our wrapper and the original one. Okay, we tried to modify this here, but I don't think this quite worked entirely. Let's check out the source now. So I want to follow this tutorial in here. Let's reload this. Oh, that's not the right one. Yeah, that's not the right one. stdinf, standard environment here. Where is it? The manual is really hard to navigate. Okay, here we have it. So we start out with go to an empty directory. Okay, we can do that. cd, well, now we need, let's do it down here. cd make temp. I'm just going to copy this. So by the way, make temp-d just creates a new temporary directory, and right, we cd into that. Now we need the Nix shell. In this case, it says Nix packages, but we don't want that here. We want the one from the Nix Hour here, so I'm gonna do that instead. Nix Hour 50-a, and it's called my package. Yes. And actually, I need to unalias my Nix shell because it's aliased to use C shell instead. And if you do that, well, the bash functions and variables don't really work in there. So I need to unalias Nix shell, then do this. Okay, and then it says we need to assign the out variable. That's because well, the package needs somewhere to write, and by default, I believe, if we just check this out, yeah, it points to the Nix store location, and we don't have write permission to this ourselves. Only the build process would have that. So we need to set that to something else. All right, invoke the desired parts of the build. First run the phases that generate a working copy of the sources, which will change the directory to the sources for you. Okay, so it says to copy this. It's a bit unnecessary here because in 99.9% of cases you don't have pre-phases, but this is meant to be made in a very generic way. And then we have unpack phase and patch phase. These are important for us. And then let's actually, yeah. Okay, assign this and then generic build. So generic build runs the phases in the phases variable. Oh, and yeah, we should have looked at the phases by default. Let's actually do that again. So we exit the shell so we can look at the original variable. Phases, oh, it's empty by default. Okay, I guess it only gets assigned later with the default if it doesn't exist yet. Okay, echo phases. Now it's assigned, and we don't have any pre-phases, so yeah, we only have these two. Then we call generic build, and we get a problem. Changing permission. Oh, I see the problem. So in our case, the derivation here is the symlink join. So it actually, this is the bit kind of, well, post build, well, there's nothing really here. It doesn't really do anything. So we want the original vscodium. To expose that, I think probably one of the easiest ways is to use pass through. So I'm just going to say pass through.vscodium equals vscodium. All right. And now instead of doing the Nix shell on my package, I'm going to use my package.vscodium. All right. Oh, now it actually fetches the dependencies. I guess that would have been a bit weird to not need any dependencies to build vscodium. All right, let's also make this a bit wider. Yeah. Okay, Electron, Acer, all of the things, or this thing which it wanted to build earlier. I hope the stream is fine if it's downloading these things. But okay, oh, now we run into some problems because I have which bat, oh, actually which cat Oh, no, alias cat. Oh, yeah. I aliased cat to bat, which is a kind of does the same thing, but a bit more prettier. And the same for Alice. Alice is aliased to Exa. So it looks like this fails because of that. And not quite sure what to do about this. So, I mean, it really shouldn't use the aliases in here, I suppose. So maybe let's just unalias and try again. Yeah, that should be fine. Unalias cat and unalias Alice, and actually L is also aliased. This is a bit manual, but let's try it. And actually, this is just the, well, it's happening while the shell is entered. So that is a little, I can't really do much about this. It's already kind of too late for these errors. Maybe, well, actually, let me take a brief look at what Nix shell actually does, or maybe let's not. Actually, Nix shell is super messy. Let's just see if it works if we continue on. So we did these steps again. I need to do the out thing again, the phases thing again. Okay, and it runs generic build. Okay, and it did the unpacking, I presume. Which will change the directory to the sources for you. It didn't change the directory here, but I think it should have unpacked it. Oh, it unpacked it into the local directory, I think. Oh, and this is actually not the source.
The source root is dot.
Oh, yes. So change the directory to the source for you. Well, it's a bit wrong, I think, this here. It doesn't change anything.
It depends on what you have in the source. If your source tarball has some subdirectory, then it will change into it. If it doesn't, then well, it doesn't.
Yeah. So, because it might change the directory for you. Okay, but now we can realize that actually this is not really the source. Like there's already, or is it? No, I don't think that's the source. If we do a tree on this, oh, well, what is there? Oh, it's JavaScript. Oof. No, that might be the more or less the source. Okay, that might be the source. What? Oh, here, is it Codium? Oh. What? Codium? Oh, that's a binary. Oh, bin? Actually, I should just find riprep.js. Oh, that's resources. Node modules, oof. Yeah, so it's all in this resources folder. Well, and these are JSON files half of the time. So we might have a hard time changing the binary like in the end. Or, I mean, there's no real compilation step here. Or maybe it's just this Codium thing here, actually. Well, maybe we can just rename this Codium to code, and then it might fail. Okay, well, let's maybe
check the derivation.
Yeah, we might have to check the derivation. Let's take a look. So we don't need this anymore. Let's instead open Nix packages. And yes, maybe go to master. It's already checked out. Check out master detach. Can I do that? I can. Okay, vscodium. I'm just going to use recursive search here to find this. Okay, this is vscodium. We have executable name. Is that not entirely exactly what we need? I think it is. But also let's look at how it's implemented. That might be interesting because we might have just tried this. Or we would have just tried the same thing. So executable name, source executable name. What is that? Well, let's look at executable names first. So it builds FHS. Okay, a run script, file package executable name, pass through executable name. Actually, this, I think this should be meta.main program now. That would be good to set. And yeah, here, this is exactly what we need. We were wondering about how to change the executable name in the desktop item. That's what we tried originally there. So Nix Hour 50, my package. So I mean, we can't really show anything interesting that way. Like, would have been nice to kind of show a patch or something like that. But apparently it's just really simple. And that would be, oh, well, actually, hold on. Wasn't the problem that it should be aliased and both should be available? I think it was something like that, actually, yeah. Show me this issue. So the problem here was exactly that, right, it should be started with code, not vscodium. When using remote features where vscodium copies itself to the remote host, the binary is again vscodium. And how was this wrapped here? Oh, I created a shell script VS Code that starts vscodium. Yeah, so I believe this might be fixed, but we'd have to confirm this. I'm not sure which binary name vscodium uses for the remote copy there. But if it does work, it should be as simple as, actually, hold on. So we have the, what was it, executable name here. Well, is this set already somewhere else? Okay, we have the vscodium Nix file, so that sets it to codium, all right. Is there an existing wrapper that kind of sets it to code directly? Because I can imagine this being a fairly common thing. Well, we have VS Code here. VS Code, I mean, that's the actual VS Code, that's not vscodium. So that's something different. I mean, that will have code. Yeah, that uses code. Is there, what if we look at all the packages? I'm gonna go just next build to get the auto completion. VS Code, Codium, oh, VS Code with extensions, utils, VS Codium FHS. I don't think there is anything like that, so probably have to do it ourselves. So if we go to the vscodium one, all right, so it calls generic with the executable name. How can we override this? This might actually not easily be doable. So the problem here might be that if this file gets call packaged, then we end up with, so I think, well, we should confirm this, but I think if there's a call package around this, so this file gets kind of like import vscodium, kind of like this, then the resulting .override function overrides these arguments here. That's kind of what call package does. And so there's no direct way to override the ones used in here. While this call package also adds its own override, the .override from this nested call package gets overridden, maybe. So, but that entirely depends on whether call package is used around here, because if we just have an import of this, like import this file, vscodium, and just the arguments here, or I guess packages, then it would work, because there's no surrounding call package that overrides the arguments. So, I mean, considering that there's no dot here, I mean, this looks like a call package argument. But let's confirm. So I'm going to go into probably all packages. We just search for vscodium equals, and indeed, it's here.
But we should call package might preserve the original thing that was overridden, can't it?
I don't think it does, but we can try it out. We should definitely try it out. Actually, one kind of slightly hacky way to look at the supported arguments for an override is to use. So I'm going to do load Nix packages and then vscodium dot override, and now I'm going to ask for lib.functionargs. Here we can see the ones, yeah, so these are the ones we saw at the top of the file. It doesn't include executable name. And so this also means that if we try to set it regardless, executable name equals code, it's gonna fail, pretty sure. Let's try building that. Nix Hour. My package, yes, its function is called with unexpected argument executable name. So that doesn't work. So what do we do instead? We could call the generic expression ourselves. vscodium. So we could kind of copy this entire thing and just copy the generic expression here and change this one argument. But then we also need to copy at least one hash here for our system. It's not great, and I don't think we can easily. So we do have the option of using .override attrs. So .override attrs overrides the final derivation attributes. So in here, in the generic, we have make derivation, and this gets called with, well, these attributes. We can override these, but you can see here that like executable name is used in like desktop items, so we'd have to change this one as well. It's used in here, it's used in a whole bunch of places here as well. So we'd have to copy like the entire thing here, pretty much. So I think probably the best way is to call the generic one. We have like a couple minutes here, and actually we can maybe stretch this a bit longer since we're only doing half an hour. So yeah, honestly the easiest way is to just copy the entire thing here. And although I should make sure that I use the same version, so this is just a fairly random Nix packages version. And here I have it tracked with niv, so I should really install that or make it available in the shell. So revision, I'm gonna check this revision out, check out here, then go to vscodium. I'm gonna copy the entire thing and I'm gonna insert this here, vscodium.nix. So we can also call package this just like the original, but we don't have access to this path here. So we need access to Nix packages. So let's actually pass in sources here and then use sources.nix packages. So that's the path to Nix packages, but now we need to do, actually we can use something fancy here. We can use lib.path.append. Function that I wrote to make it a bit easier to append paths without problems. So what's a path here? We can see it here. So that's packages, applications, editors, VS Code, generic .nix. All right. Now that looks like it might just work. Oh, this doesn't work. Fair enough, but we don't need to update it. So, I mean, we can remove everything we don't really need here. We're just overriding this ourselves. So this can go. We can remove all the comments as well. We can also remove the systems we don't need, but I'll keep this for now. Okay, let's try building this, and hopefully it will actually reuse the same build result, so it shouldn't build anything.
I think you still need to provide the source executable name.
Yes, we haven't changed it yet, so this should cause a rebuild now. Executable name code. And hopefully, I don't think it should. Okay, that's definitely wrong. Oh yeah, we didn't even call it. Yeah, so we need to actually call package this. I'm gonna go in here, vscodium code. Let's get package name. And then do call package on vscodium. Well, it's not. Yeah, it's still vscodium. Okay, save that. Then I'm gonna call vscodium code. Function called, oh yeah, we need to call sources. So I'm gonna inherit sources here. Okay. And set with path, oh right, okay. Well, I say the path library can be used for this. It can't actually be used for this because it only acts on Nix paths, not paths and strings. So
it complains that it is set. So maybe Nix packages.path.
It would have to be this out path. So it can only be coerced to a string though, not a path. So if we look at, actually let me go into Nix Hour 50 default.nix. Oh, where is it? Where is it open? And I just want to inherit sources so I can look at the result. I'm gonna do a Nix REPL. Load the current file, and we have sources dot, and now we can see here, okay, we have Nix packages, but yeah, we can see this is an attribute set with all of the properties, but also outpath, and so outpath means it can be cursed to a string. So if we do it like this, it turns into that there. Also a toString works. It's the same thing in this case. These aren't always the same thing. For paths, these are different. I mentioned this like a couple times before. But yeah, for paths, it's different. But so in this case, we get back outpath. And so that's not technically a Nix path. So not a Nix path value, but it's a string. It's only a path in a string. And unfortunately, how I designed the library, it doesn't work. So if we do, we don't have packages available here. Let's also do that, packages.
But it's a new scope for packages, so it includes all packages.
Oh, yes.
So it should have.
Wait, does it lib? No, it doesn't. Wait, if we load this, only 9 variables. I think it might not include the original one. Yeah, it doesn't include the original one. But so lib equals packages.lib, and so yeah, we can try this lib.path.append. But it doesn't work. It says is of type string, but a path was expected. Gotta say this is a bit unintuitive. So you can only use this for like local paths like this. So this is an actual Nix path value, and in here the problem here is that it's very easy to make a mistake, because if you just try this, you get a kind of bogus result. So that's why lib.path.append exists. So you won't be making that mistake, and it also, well, If you pass it an absolute path in the second argument, it also complains. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. But okay, so we can't do that. We just need to do the kind of bit more manual thing. But that actually does work like this. Yes.
Into a slash.
Oh yeah, the slash I. That would also give a bogus result if we forgot it here. So next build, vscodium called without required argument meta. Oh, I see. So we removed meta down here, but the generic function expects a meta. So I'm just gonna add it back. If it wants meta, then it can get meta in my opinion. But I'm gonna copy this line, so I can just paste it again here now. Okay. Do some time traveling code. Oh, update script as well. I didn't go back too far. But actually I'm going to use undo tree here in Vim. So I can just like go, is it here? No. Further back here. Because it's just further back. Yeah, here. Okay, update script. Well, the update script wouldn't work like this. But yeah, let's do it like this. Update script, kind of a good opportunity to show off the undo tree in Vim, although it's not, there's more useful applications. Okay, it built, we didn't change the binary yet now. Yes, so executable name, code, save and build, and hopefully it's just gonna take a couple minutes. Some errors, warnings. Oh, didn't work. Can't read no such file or directory. That's.
You need source again too. It will name probably.
Oh, yes. Oh, although now that did default to the right value, I believe. In
Tarball you have codium, not code. So now it defaults to code. And cannot find
I see.
Code in the Tarball.
So that's what that's for. Okay, let's try it out. Source executable name equals codium. Build it again. Unpacking. Yep, that seemed to make it progress. And oh, there's apparently another case where this no such file lib vscode. I feel like there's probably something wrong here with when source executable name and executable name is used. Maybe let's see. So this is code in this case, and it's lib vscode. So lib vscode, and then that's the executable name. Oh yeah, so I think it's this one. Is it? Oh yeah, patch elf getting info, no such file. So it's this line here. Lib vscode. So this maybe be source executable name. So we changed the file now, so we can't just reuse the Nix packages clone. So I'm actually gonna just I'm gonna be very impure here. And I'm just gonna use the direct path into my Nix packages clone just to try it out. Okay, vscodium code. Let's see.
I think it was supposed to be renamed actually instead of.
It was supposed to be what?
Renamed, I think, because. Well,
oh, renamed. Maybe it built for now. Let's try if it runs as well. That seems to run. Nice. Okay, and
by running it over SSH or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask the original reporter here to verify if it works, but so far it looks pretty good. So I think this small change, that's a PR to Nix packages. So okay, PR, but we also need to.
We could override the resulting iteration with this fix.
Probably yes. Post. So we could override post fix up and just copy that. That should work. Yes. That's a bit. Is there an argument where we can? No, there's not. So there's no argument to like add additional things to post fix up in this function at the top here. So we need to do this ugly wrapping where we say, well, let's not do it that ugly. Let's say derivation or like intermediate derivation equals this. Okay, this way we can also keep the indentation the same. Then at the end we do intermediate derivation dot override attrs, so that overrides the derivation attributes, including patch, this one here, post fix up. Okay, and prev attrs, let's call it that. Okay, but now we need this one. Well, as the end of Linux, we need source executable name. Actually, okay, let's do a bit more reuse here. Let's move this up here. Source executable name is vscodium. I mean, this is a Nix packages bug. I'm just gonna copy it here. Okay, libglvnd is that an argument? So this is the original function. Libgl, yes, it comes from here. We can just take this up here. Libglvnd. All right. Oh, and now yeah, Codium is right. Okay. So, and this way we can use the original one, this one. Okay, like this. So we can reuse the sources. It's not impure anymore. And let me verify it builds. Very nice. We get the exact same result. That is fairly promising.
But why? Didn't we change?
We changed the post fix up, but to the same value.
Yeah.
So yeah, if we actually change anything in here, even just a single space, it's gonna rebuild. Yes. So yeah, keeping it the same hash, same derivation, no build. Okay, so I think that's actually fairly good. We are, well, technically a bit over time, but actually not really, because we're only half an hour planned for now. But I think this here would be appropriate for a Nix pull request, and actually I don't want to do it right now, but we could. It's a very simple one. Actually, let me do it briefly. That should only take like a couple of minutes if I'm fast. So to do this, I'm gonna check out master. It's already checked.
That this is how it's supposed to be fixed.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna ping people and just like, well, probably good to open a PR, maybe mark it as a draft, and then see if it works. Oh, the new attribute name is intermediate, not. I think that should be right. New attribute name, or maybe that was a bit earlier. Let me know if you still see a problem here.
I think it's about the name in the outer attribute set, but in the outer attribute set we just import this file, which means we didn't change name there.
I don't quite
in
get it.
default.nix.
So in default.nix.
Yeah, in default.nix it's
here.
still vscodium-code. So we're importing vscodium.nix, and even though it's named intermediate duration there, it's still vscodium-code here. And when we on CLI nix-build-a, we use vscodium-code from here.
Yeah, that is what I'm intending. So, I mean, this is
I think the question was about this, why it's
I see.
intermediate duration, and we are still calling vscodium-code.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is only an internal variable name. So you can see here in, so it's let in is a big statement here, let, and then all the variables, and then in. So this is only like very local to here, and we could call this anything actually. If we want a funny variable name, we could do something like this. Oh no, that doesn't work. Oh no, it doesn't work because it isn't defined. Let's use this instead. Very nice. Nil also doesn't complain, so it knows about the syntax. Yeah, and that still works. Yeah, so thanks for lighting up that, Yuri. And so in here, I want to switch to a new branch, vscodium, or VS Code source executable name. I'm gonna create this from master -c. All right. And I'm gonna stash pop. I stashed it earlier, so now it's here. Then I'm going to, well, I should probably test this VS Code. That's unfree, so arc config allow unfree equals true. Okay. That, and actually I'm gonna use non-build instead so I can see this a bit better, and I'm also gonna build vscodium. Code-em. Oh god. And actually also I want to do builders etc nix machines, so that I'm not building this on my local machine. Okay, but so this is building.
To build the code, it just copies stuff around, so it should be fast.
Yeah, right. Okay, let's not do that then. So while that's churning, I'm going to go in here. So this is the branch. I'm going to add this. I'm going to git add -u, all the untracked files. Git status is this. I'm going to commit. And this is VS Code. I think vscodium as well. vscodium, I'm not sure if that's actually a... Well, let's keep it like this. Fix post or fix executable name in post fix up. Yeah, kind of like this. Ideally, we'd also have an error message here, so we should also test this with, well, I mean, this is the test here. That's kind of hard to do. So let's maybe just open APR for now and let people discuss it there.
Actually, there is another attribute that uses source attribute name. It's something like vscode insiders, I think.
Oh, source executable name.
Executable, yeah. Yeah, so in vscode it is changed if is insiders is set.
Oh, I see. is insiders. Oh, so actually, yeah, we could. Is insiders, yeah. Let's try this. Maybe, well, the executable name. Well, it's the same. No, that might break. Is insiders equals true. Okay, on VS Code. So instead of doing this, I'm going to do. I can't use -a directly now, and then that's going to be a bit more annoying. Hold on. Can we do is insiders? Could just change this to true. We are inside Nix packages. But no, let's it needs to be reproducible. So let's do a expression. I'm going to do import Nix packages, and now, well, it's a bit more annoying because we need to do config.allow unfree here. And then here this should be vscode.override is insiders equals true. All right. And that should hopefully work, but if we were to undo the commit we just did, it should hopefully not work. I hope this doesn't have to build a lot of things. Okay, let's see. I'm going to push this commit to an upstream. This branch rather. That's fetching stuff. Unpacking, installing. Oh, yeah. So that's actually. So this is straight up broken. What?
That is what I was expecting. That the name of the file, we're supposed to rename the file, not change what we are passing to patch health.
Oh, isn't this a case of where we need source executable name to still be Codium or something like that?
I would expect it to be code because it's this code, but also I guess it's code-insiders for insiders builds or something like.
Yeah, I feel like this needs a bit more time to look into it, and there's some notes on this here as well. So maybe let's not just push this into PR for now. I don't even know if it's like actually a bug or if we just broke the code here. But anyways, I'm going to commit this in the Nix Hour repository. And yeah, then hopefully we can get some feedback by the original reporter and see if that fixed the issue. And then we can, apparently that's the most upvoted issue here, so it would be nice to address that. Yeah. All right, so I think let's conclude the Nix Hour. Went over a bit, but then also only 30 minutes planned. But yeah, thanks for listening, and I hope you learned something.